What's going on YouTube? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Combiner Wars Onslaught. This is the final Combaticon in the set. He is a remold of Hotspot, who we have already reviewed and already know what he looks like, but I do have to admit, I really am kind of smitten with this guy. He looks so good. He looks so good. Very much like the original Generation 1 figure that, let's face it, has been repainted a couple of dozen times. The overall look of the figure is fan-freaking-tastic. You'll notice that the paint scheme is exactly as the G1 figure was, which I greatly appreciate. The figure also sports an absolutely beautiful Generation 1 styling head sculpt. Alright gang, enough of me oozing on about the fact that it's a Generation 1 looking figure. You can remove the guns, which are easily stored on his backpack and hand carried in use. These are the exact same mold as Hotspot's, and I assume the exact same mold as, I think it's Bludgeon is going to be repainted or reissued in this mold as well. And I'm sure there's going to be yet another one at some point down the line. Oh yeah, the torso for the fan-chosen Combiner is also going to be this mold. So yeah, Hasbro's really getting a lot of mileage out of these molds. Posability is exactly the same as the others. Head is on a very tight swivel. Ratcheting in the shoulders, a swivel just beneath that. An over 90-degree bend in the elbow, lots of wrist articulation, hands, or I should say the fists do not articulate themselves, very tight ratchets in the hips, ratchets for in and out, swivel just beneath the ratchet in the thigh, and a 90-degree bend at the knee with some minor heel and foot articulation based on the transformation. A quick note about Onslaught's legs. Here on the left, we have how the knee is transformed in packaging, and here on the right is how the knee is supposed to be transformed for robot mode. So as you can see, it's not transformed correctly out of the box. To fix that, you kind of just have to put your thumb in here and bend the knee down on this double ratchet, and then push it up and snap it into place. If you don't, well, he's not going to be able to stand up real well. Onslaught's transformation is basically the same as what we did with Hotspot. To start off with, we're going to open up the chest and fold the head inside, and then close the chest up. Straighten out the arms, and lift up the sections on the outside of the shoulders, and fold the arms straight up until they snap into place. Turn them such that the front of the shoulders is pointing towards up where the head was, and bring them together and combine them. This will form the front of the vehicle mode. Coming down to the legs, take the heels and fold them up. Take the legs and straighten them out. And then turn them 180 degrees so that the shins are pointing to the top of the vehicle mode. Then take the bottom of the legs and, using the hinge that we have just freed up, accordion the legs up into the body of the figure and snap them into place. So do that for both legs. And you can just kind of turn the gunnery area out of the way. And then when you do that, combine the legs and straighten everything out. And then take the gunning area or the big cannon area and just kind of slide that into place along the back. Next, take the little feet and just fold them up and flush against the back of the vehicle mode. And the last bit of the transformation is quite simple. Take the sections here that are gray and look like wings, fold them all the way down along the side of the vehicle mode, and then we will attach the guns to these holes right here on the side. Onslaught's new vehicle mode is a very nice redo of Hotspot's vehicle mode, a retool, I should say. It works. It works really well, I think. It's not super perfect because we've got some robot kibble still showing here, and there's a hole right there, and let's face it, that's a combiner head right there. But overall, I think it works rather well, and it does look much more militaristic than Hotspot's did, which was a fire engine, which it was supposed to be. This is definitely a giant cannon truck that does have some posability. A little bit. If you want to pose it, you do have to fold these sides up. But other than that, the guns move up and down with no real problems other than peekaboo. But hey, what are you going to do? I still think it works really well. As a standalone figure, Onslaught is probably one of my favorite of the core torso bots. The only complaint I have against him is he's not an original mold. He's a retool of an already existing figure. And that's a shame, but I understand why Hasbro did it. Let's face it, Hasbro likes to cut corners wherever they can. So let's go ahead and get into the merge sequence. First off, we are going to transform him into the torso. To start off with, we're going to, yet again, open up the head and fold it into the body, like so. With the head now folded into the chest, take the backpack, turn the backpack all the way around so it's up on the shoulders, and fold it down into place, pegging in to the exact spot where the head was. So just fold that down and peg it into place like so. Next, take the guns and flip them up over the back, folding out all the way. Turn the guns and point them over the shoulders, and then fold the guns and this cover section all the way down thusly. And here we have a Bruticus's head pointing out the back of the figure. Come to the Bruticus head section where the chest plate is also. Take the shoulders and fold them out towards the back of Bruticus, and then fold those wings out to form part of his chest plate. And the wings are going to peg into these slots just inside the shoulders, like that. Next, take the arms and fold them up and peg them into place on these little pegs that are sticking at the top of Bruticus's shoulders. And it's actually a little bit difficult to get these lined up correctly because you can't really see what you're doing all that well. Next, grab these sections here that are the actual cabs in the vehicle mode, flip them out, and then flip them straight back to open up the combiner port areas. So do that on this side as well, and just keep them pointed straight back. Now, when we do the combination and actually put the combiner parts in, we're gonna have to unpeg the wings just so that the combiner parts can slide in. Next, we come down to the legs where I've already straightened out one of the legs for the transformation. What we're going to do is accordioning them down, and what we're going to do is then get the double hinge such that we can slide this tab on the inner thigh or outer thigh into this little spot right here on the bottom leg. So it's actually a little bit harder to do than you might think because of the way the legs work, but I've done it enough times that I've got it down pretty well. And then turn them so that the wheels are facing to the back of Bruticus, and then fold up Onslaught's feet, and then reach up to the chest and fold down the crotch plate. And then here we have the torso, ready to go. So we will take a Swindle and attach him. And we will take a Brawl and attach him. And as I said, we will unpeg the wings up front and attach a Vortex. And snap that back into place. And a Blast Off. And snap that back into place. And here we have Bruticus. I gotta admit, I really like the way Bruticus looks. I like the way Bruticus looks a lot. It just looks really beefy and menacing. Now, even though I do like this thing a lot, there are some minor issues, and it's the same issues that I had with Defensor. The hips, the ratchets, aren't strong enough to really hold the figure up straight, so I end up having to put him in a different pose where he's not actually standing up straight. It's just very, very awkward and very odd. I just have a lot of problems with Bruticus and Defensor. So there's that. The other issue has to do with Brawl. And it just, man, this Brawl figure is just complete garbage. The ratchet used to flip the combiner port out is gotten so loose on my figure, even though I've only had it for like 2 weeks and combined him to Galvatronus. It's so loose that it just will not stay straight when weight is applied to it. Other than that, though, the figure's just fine. Bruticus's head sculpt is also really well done. It is on a ball joint and has plenty of posability. No light piping, but I'm okay with that because the eyes and the mouth guard are painted so well. Bruticus has been well worth the wait, and I think Hasbro did a pretty good job here. I would have loved to have seen Blastoff be a shuttle, but I'm okay with him being a plane. It actually works better with the entirety of the Combaticons. And overall, it's just a fantastic combiner, especially compared to the others. Overall, Bruticus is definitely a combiner set that you need to have, especially if you're a Generation 1 fan. In fact, I think of all the Generation 1 combiners, he's my favorite, next to Superion. I really do like Superion. So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this video review of Onslaught and Bruticus. As always, I'm Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.